Win the morning, win the day is a quote that has been impactful in my life. And today, because I have gotten a lot of questions about my morning routine, I want to tell you about my morning routine in detail. This morning routine changes. It has been in decades in the making. But I do think when you have a morning routine, whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, I do think it can set your day into a positive spiral. Or it also can, if you don't do your morning routine and you wake up and you go into the phone or check your emails, that's gonna put you also into a negative spiral throughout the day. And that's the reason why I do my morning routine. I like rituals, and I have gained so much knowledge of how to improve your mind and enhance your emotional state, so you are as much ready for the day to improve your connections, work better, and improve your physical health and intellectual capacity. So what I do is, normally I wake up around 6 a.m. And the first thing I do is that I go upstairs and I hit the cold plunge. I do the cold plunge for 3 minutes, and I'll tell you this, that every time I wake up, I never want to hit the cold plunge. I wake up and then my first thought is, I'm not gonna hit the cold plunge today. And then, I hit the cold plunge and I feel a sense of accomplishment and strength when I finish that. And the reason why I do it is mainly, I would say, the physical benefits of ice bathing is demonstrated of improving inflammation, I would say. But the main reason I do it is for my resilience and for my determination, because I never want to do the ice bath, but I still do it. And I've done something uncomfortable the first thing I do on the day, and that makes me feel more ready to tackle bigger challenges that happens throughout the day. But it's also a fantastic source of mindfulness, because I can't think about anything else than being in the cold water. So I like to start my day off by doing something extremely hard. Then I put on my gym clothes and I come here, when I'm sitting here right now, and I do a 15-minute visualization meditation. So I close my eyes, and what I do is I first meditate for 3 minutes. So when I meditate, I'm just focusing on my breath and on my body. So I'm noticing how my butt touches the chair, how my feet touches the chair as well and the floor, how my hands touch the table. And I'm just focusing on my breath, breathing inside and outside my nose, feeling how the air is going into my nose and out of my nose, how my chest expands, how it goes down. I do that for 3 minutes just to center ourselves well. Then for the next 3 minutes, I envision myself achieving my short-term goals. So earlier this year, for example, I had a goal of running a marathon under 3:15. I had a goal of doing a TED Talk. I had a goal of completing my PhD. And so for 3 minutes, I envisioned myself achieve those goals as clearly as I possibly could, using all my senses. Meaning that I close my eyes and I either imagine as from my personal point of view, or like when you're watching a movie. I normally do it when you're watching a movie. So envision myself with all of my surrounding as clearly as possible, meaning that I knew the location of my TED Talk. I knew there would be audiences. I knew I would maybe hear something from the audiences. I envisioned what I was tasting at that time, what I was smelling, etc. And for the marathon, I envisioned myself coming into finishing the marathon under 3:15, how I would celebrate. I know how the final marks of the race end, etc. But it's really important in visualization to imagine as vividly as possible, using all of your senses. Then for the next 3 minutes, I envision my longer term vision for life. And this might be a vision for like 5 or 10 years. So I vision myself, I close my eyes, like, where do I live? How is my house? Who is with me in the house? And then I normally imagine like a partner in my home, maybe kids. And what am I doing with my life? And then I go through myself, like, how am I feeling? How is my physical condition? And what am I doing for work? And I envision myself just take myself through that moment of doing all of this, the house I am in, the car I own, the relationship I have, the free time and leisure time and hobbies that I do, what I'm doing for work. And I envision that as like a reality. So these are basically the long-term vision or my long-term goals. And I do both of those because it's really helpful not only to set goals, but it's also really important to remind ourselves of our goals. And envisioning your best possible future, which I'm doing in the case I just described, you also prime your brain to strive for that during the day, because I have planned for that vision to make themselves a reality in my life. For the next 3 minutes, I have been trying out praying now, and I just close my eyes and I pray because I've been developing a relationship with God. And I pray, normally it can be for myself and that I have the strength to, tackle challenges of the day, that I give myself grace, that I will be disciplined, or I can pray for other people, my enemies or my family or my friends, of like, I hope they are doing well and I hope you're with them and take care of them. So I do that for 3 minutes, and that just makes me feel really good and reminds me of the God that lives in other people and gives me faith in other people and faith in myself. Then I have 2 things that I do. Next, what I do, and I can see this is 15 to 18 minutes, not just 50 minutes. Next thing I do, I visualize the day I have. So I know I'm going to Gold's Gym, and I know that maybe I'm going to a coffee house to work, and then I have these meetings, and I have the run club, or I have some activity, and then I have my evening ritual. And I just envision like, how do I want to feel in each of these situations? Maybe during Gold's, because I talk to people at Gold's, I want to feel very energizing. And I want to feel like really present at Gold's. And when I'm working, I want to be in the flow state. I want to be completely immersed on what I'm doing. And I want to be really focused and not scrolling on my phone, etc. When I'm in a meeting, I want to infuse positive emotions with my team, or I want to really be focused on one sense of point. So it's basically going through what you are going to do and how you want your emotional state to be in. And that serves for me as a reminder of how I want to feel throughout the day and how my day is going to go, and me increasing the likelihood that this will be a good day. And then finally, what I do, I have 2 versions of this, but I do first, either I do a negative visualization, which comes from Stoicism, which is about infusing gratitude in your life. And I know how important it is to have positive emotions in your life and what that can do to your psychology, physical health, and social relationship. So what I do is I envision myself, I close my eyes and I envision that I've lost everything. So I've lost my family, my friends, the life I'm living, I lost my capacity, I'm unhealthy, I've lost my capacity to think, and everything that I really appreciate and have kind of taken for granted. I envisioned me just losing all of that, just for a brief moment. And then I just start to smile because I realized that I have all of these things already in my life, and I experience a lot of gratitude for reminding me of those. Because the fact is that when we lose something in our life, we know how important that thing was in our lives. But we don't have to lose them to be grateful for them. We can remind ourselves with these techniques to appreciate them more. And so I do that either, or I envision normally people that I'm grateful for. So I bring people in my mind. So my mom, my friends, a stranger that I met on the street. I just feel the gratitude towards I have to that human being. And gratitude is really good when you focus on other people in your life, because that's the most important thing for our mental health and well-being in life. So I do that instead of writing it down, like I'm grateful for this, I want to have the physiology also grateful. So I don't want to just know it here, I also want to feel it. So I do that for either of those. I do that for 3 minutes. And then basically I hit Gold's. I normally lift in the morning. I'm lifting 6 days a week. I'm doing a classic bodybuilding split, push, pull, legs, and then repeat. And then I come home, shower, and then basically the next step is just going to a coffee house and going into deep work. So before doing the morning routine, I also have a large glass of water and I also have coffee. But this 18-minute meditation and visualization is so good for my life, and I can feel the difference between when I do it and when I don't do it. And I do it 99.9% of the time. And yeah, you don't have to have this kind of a robust routine. You can alternate it. You can, instead of doing the cold plunge, you can do a cold shower. Don't have to do all the things I just listed. The best part is about finding a morning routine. It's just testing things out and then to try them out in your own life and see what you like and don't like. And then as we get used to everything, be really intentional on changing some things that you do. I forgot to say one thing before I hit the gym. I take this notebook here and I write in a journal. And normally what I do is I read the day before, or what I learned the day before from people maybe, or articles or books. And I just write down what I learned the day before. So let's say I was reading a book and there were some interesting points there. I just try to recall that by retrieving only with my pen, not by looking at the book, because I know that retrieving with the pen strengthens your memory, your long-term memory, and that's way more successful than not doing it. And the fact is that we forget 75% of what we read within 6 days. So this is a really good method for me to learn and enhance learning in my life. And sometimes I will journal to expressively. I will journal about my day, how I'm feeling, what questions I have. So I do that for maybe 5 to 10 minutes before I hit the gym. So I just want to remember to tell you that. So yeah, this is my morning routine. Try your own version, but it does a lot of benefits to my life. So thank you, and keep me posted if you do some of this and how it influences your life. See you soon.